Good day, everyone. Today we will be discussing our research study entitled of Alignment of Collaborative Learning Strategy with Authentic Assessment Tools and Enhancing Academic Performance of BSed Mathematics students in Visayas State University Alang-Alang campus. Before we proceed our study, let us introduce ourselves. I am Lisa Correco Batias together with my crew members, Aroban Baldonado, Angela Humilda, and Marvin Superable. Now, let's begin for our chapter 1.
So, our title is Alignment of Collaborative Learning Strategies and Authentic Assessment Tools in Enhancing the Academic Performance of BSed Mathematics Student in Visayas State University, Alang-Alang Campus. So, for our background of the study, this study aims to create a learning environment where students actively gain knowledge through social interaction and show understanding by engaging in real-world challenge. Integrating collaborative learning with authentic assessment involves designing tasks that promote teamwork, critical thinking, and practical problem solving, such as group project and performance-based activity. So, for collaborative learning is a student-centered approach that encourages learning to actively shape their education through meaningful group activities. It fosters knowledge, constructions, teamwork, communication, critical thinking, and problem while improving retention and creativity. So for collaborative, so this begin by explaining why the study was conducted. So, education today emphasizes actively learning where students do not listen to lecture but learn by interacting, discussing, and problem together. So one effective way to do is through collaborative learning. So where students work in group to share ideas, explain concepts, and solve mathematical problems. So next is another important approach is authentic assessment, which evaluates students using real-world tasks such as project, group activity, portfolios, and performance tasks instead of relying only on written exams. So this type of assessment allows students to show what they have truly learned and how they can apply mathematics in practical situations. Despite growing interest in collaborative learning and authentic assessment, few studies examine how their alignment affect student academic performance. This study addresses that gap by investigating how combining these approaches can enhance engagement, understanding, and achievement among BSed mathematics students. So, for our main research question, to determine the alignment of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools in enhancing the academic performance of BSed mathematics students in Visayas State University, Alang-Alang. So for the specific research question, for number 1, which collaborative learning strategies are often used in Visayas State University VSED mathematics courses? So, for number 2, what authentic assessment tools are employed by instructors in evaluating the learning of BSED mathematics student? Lastly, there is a significant relationship between the alignment of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools. So next is research hypothesis. This study seeks to the test that following hypothesis to determine the relationship between collaborative learning strategies, authentic assessment tools, and academic performance of BSed mathematics student at Visayas State University, Alang-Alang. So, this present the statement that the study will test. So, for the alternative hypothesis, for number 1, BSed Mathematics student at Visayas State University alang-alang often use collaborative learning strategies. Number 2 is instructors at Visayas State University alang-alang often use authentic assessment tools in evaluating the learning of BSed Mathematics student. And last is, there is a significant relationship between academic performance and alignment of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools in BSed Mathematics student. So, for the null hypothesis, for number 1, BSed Mathematics student at Visayas State University alang-alang do not often use collaborative learning strategies. So, for number 2, instructors at Visayas State University alang-alang do not often use authentic assessment tools in evaluating the learning of BSed Mathematics student. And lastly, or number 3, if there is no significant relationship between the academic performance and the alignment of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools in BSed Mathematics student. So, these hypotheses are tested using statistical analysis. So, next is scope and delimitation of the study. It aims to identify the collaborative learning strategies that are commonly used, the authentic assessment tools applied, and how these two elements align to support and improve student performance in mathematics. So, this study focuses only on collaborative learning strategies, authentic assessment tools, academic performance in BSed Mathematics students. So, it is limited to BSed Mathematics student of Visayas State University alang-alang campus and does not include other program or institution. So, next is conceptual framework. The conceptual framework shows that the relationship among variables. So, for the independent variables, there is collaborative learning strategies, authentic assessment tools, and for the dependent variable, here is the academic performance. So, the framework explained that when collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools are properly aligned, they are expected to improve student academic performance. So, next is theoretical framework. So, this study is grounded in several education theories. So, first is social constructivism by Vygotsky, 1978. Vygotsky theory emphasized the learning occurs through social interaction and collaboration. So for Vygotsky, learning happens through social interaction and collaboration which support the use of group activity. Next is experiential learning theory by Golp, 1984. Golp's experience learning theory suggests that learning is a process where knowledge is created through experience, reflection, and application. So, learning occurs experience, reflection, and application where supporting authentic assessment. Next is constructive alignment by Biggs, 1996. Big's concept of constructive alignment explain that effective learning happens when teaching strategies, assessment tools, and intended learning outcomes are interconnected. So, for constructive alignments, learning is most effective when teaching strategies, assessment, and learning outcomes are aligned. So these theories rather justify that interaction of collaborative learning and authentic assessment. Proceed to so now let's proceed to our significance of the study. So mathematics educators, the findings of this study may provide mathematics educators with deeper insights into the effective integration of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools in classroom instruction. Next is for BSED mathematics student, the result of this study may enhance student understanding of the rule of the collaboration and authentic assessment in their academic development. Next is teacher education program. The outcome of this study may inform curriculum developers and program implementers in improving teacher education program. Next is for the researchers. The study will contribute to the growing body of local literature, literature on collaborative learning and authentic assessment in mathematics education. And lastly is policy makers and administrator. The findings of this research may provide empirical evidence to support the formulation of policies and institutional guidance promoting the use of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools in teacher education. So, for definition of term is alignment refers to the process of ensuring that collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools are consistent and implementary to each other in achieving the desired academic outcomes of BSED mathematics student. So, next is collaborative learning strategies. These are instructional approaches that encourage students to work together in a group to solve problem solving, complete tasks, and build knowledge actively. And next is authentic assessment tools. These are evaluating methods that require students to apply knowledge and skills to real-world or meaningful tasks. Lastly is academic performance. So, refers to the measurable outcome of student learning, typically expressed through grades, scores, or performance in mathematics-related tasks. So, definition of terms, important terms that are such as alignment, collaborative learning strategies, authentic assessment tools, and academic performance are defined to ensure clarity and avoid misinterpretation.
Talking about the review of related literature and studies. So, it's provide the foundation for understanding the significance of alignment collaborative learning strategies with the authentic assessment tools in mathematics education. So, collaborative learning encourages interaction, teamwork, and shared problem solving, while assessment evaluates how learning takes place and what students have achieved. While authentic assessment, in particular, emphasizes real-world application of knowledge and aligns well in collaborative approaches. So, this literature and studies examine how collaborative learning and assessment practice and authentic assessment highlight their impact in mathematics education or teaching or teacher rather training. Now we have collaborative learning strategies. So according to Johnson and Smith of 2015, stressed that structured collaborative learning enhance a positive interdependence, accountability, and interpersonal skills, which are essential in mathematics classroom. So similarly, for Johnson and Smith, where according to Jarvella and Haldwin of 2018, so explore socially shared regulation in collaborative learning, emphasizing that per interaction leads to strong group problem solving outcomes. So confirming that students achieve higher performance when collaboration is supported by assessment criteria that value both process and product, according to Shadiv and 1 of 2020. Next, we have a Darling, Hammond, and Cock-Harvey, Baron, and Osher of 2020. So highlighted that collaborative activities paired with meaningful assessment improve resilience, adaptability, and creativity. Collectively, this study or literature shows that collaborative learning strategies support by authentic and process-based assessment enhance a mathematics performance and develop essential in 21st century skills. Next, we have, according to Buen Consejo of 2016, reported that a collaborative techniques such as peer thinking share and peer tutoring improved students' problem-solving ability in mathematics. So, found that group collaborations not only on increasing motivation but also reduce math anxiety, resulting in more active participation according to Gonzalez of 2018. So, discovered by Espinosa and Garin of 2019 that group-based performance tasks produce better quality outputs and compared to individual tasks. Now we are going to tackle about the related literature and studies of authentic assessment tools. So according to Goller, Bastianes, and Krisner of 2017, that defined authentic assessment as a process of evaluating student through real-world performance tests, project, and portfolio. Their work emphasized that such assessments go beyond the rote memorization by requiring the application of knowledge in practical context, and supported this by noting that authentic assessment in mathematics strengthens student ability to connect abstract theory with real-world problem solving, according to Zhao of 2019. So, emphasize that assessment aligned with collaboration foster a lifelong learning by promoting creativity, resilience, and adaptability, according to Darling, Hammond et al. Of 2020. So, according to, or furthermore, of Johnson et al. Of 2015, described collaboration as an intentional teaching strategies that ensure accountability, equal participation, and shared responsibility in learning. Collectively, this literature and studies emphasize that collaborative learning and authentic assessment must be integrated to a maximum student outcome in mathematics education. Next is we have a relation of academic performance and the alignment of collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment. So we have the effectiveness of project-based authentic assessment in improving a mathematics performance while also nurturing soft skills such as communication, responsibilities, and leadership, according to Lopez of 2021 and Abad and De La Cruz of 2022. So further explanation, that authentic assessments encourage creativity and adaptability, which are vital qualities for future mathematics educator. These local literature and studies confirm that integration of collaborative learning and authentic assessment support holistic student development and strengthens teacher education program in our country.
Now, let's move on to our chapter 3, the methodology. So first, we have the research design. Our study employed the descriptive correlation design. This design is appropriate because we did not manipulate the variables. Extend, we examine whether the significant relationship exists among them. The independent variable are the collaborative learning strategies and the authentic assessment tools by the students, while the dependent variables is the academic performance of the BS and mathematics students. To gather the necessary data, we develop a research-made survey questionnaires. The response we analyze using both descriptive statistics such as frequency, percentage, mean, and standard deviation, and the inferential statistics, especially the percent product moment correlation coefficient at 0.05 significance level. Now let's move on for the research locate. Our research conducted at the Visayas State University Alang-Alang campus. Now let's move on for the research respondents. The respondents of our study are the Bachelor of Secondary major in Mathematics students of BSU Alang-Alang campus for school year of 2025-2026. The total population is 185 students. That includes 32 first-year students, 40 second-year students, third-year students, and 66 fourth-year students. Since the total population contains of 185 students, so we use the solving formula with 5% margin of error to determine the appropriate sample size. This resulted of sample of 127 respondents. To make sure all year levels were fairly presented, we applied the stratified random sampling techniques. The proportional breakdowns it as follows of 22 first-year students, 27 for second-year students, 32 for third-year students, and 46 for the 46 for the fourth-year students. Which within each stratum, the respondents we randomly selected using the MS Excel run between functions. This ensured that every student had equal chance of being included in the study while maintaining balanced presentation across the 4 years levels. Now let's move on for the research instrument. This study employed a research design survey questionnaire as the primary instrument for the data collection. The instrument was composed of three parts. First, the collaborative learning strategy. We used checklists. And the authentic assessment tools, we use also checklists. For the alignment, we use the scatter plot, the person, or correlation. So, for the validation of instrument, the survey checklist used in this data underwent a systematic validation process to ensure both its validity and reliability. The instrument was first subjected to expert validation evaluation by specialists in research methodology and mathematics education. These experts examined the questionnaire in terms of clarity, appropriateness, and alignment with the objects of the study. Their comments and recommendations were incorporated to improve the overall structure and content of the instruments. To further establish reliability, a pilot test was conducted with a group of BSED mathematics students who were not part of the actual respondents. The pilot test aimed to determine the clarity of the items, identify the possible ambiguities, and access whether the response options were appropriate and understable. Based on the results of the pilot test, necessary revisions were made to strengthen the accuracy and the consistency of the instrument. Next, for the systematic analysis, a descriptive statistics was used, such as frequency counts and percentage, to analyze the data for the profile of the respondents. On the other hand, and the mean and standard deviation were used in the analyze the data for collaboration learning strategy, authentic assessment tools, and the students' academic performance in mathematics. And also, we use the person-product moment correlation coefficient was employed to examine whether the collaborative learning strategies and authentic assessment tools have a significant relationship with academic performance of BSED mathematics students. The correlation coefficient were interpreted following the guidelines suggested by Ratner of 2009. Now let's move on to our ethical consideration. For the ethical standards strictly observed throughout the conduct of this study to ensure the protection of the rights, dignity, and the privacy of all participants. Prior to data collection, the researchers will seek approval from the Research Ethics Committee of Visayas State University and secure the permission from College of Education to conduct the study among the BSED students.
Chapter 3 Research Methodology, Pilot Test and Instrument Evaluation. This section presents the result of the pilot testing conducted among 20 BSED mathematics students. The data are analyzed to evaluate the clarity, consistency, and relevance of the research instrument. The findings of this pilot testing is preliminary and not treated as the final result of this study. The pilot test serve as the foundation for refining the checklist before it is administered to the respondents of the main study. Table 4.1 Results of Checklist of Collaborative Learning Strategy. This table shows the tallied results of Part 1 in the checklist Collaborative Learning Strategy. Next, Figure 5.1 Reliability of the Collaborative Learning Strategy. This figure serves the reliability check for collaborative learning strategy. It accurately measures the collaborative learning strategy mostly used by mathematics educators. That's it. Next one. Table 4.2 Results for Checklist of Authentic Assessment. This is also the tallied results for Part 2 of the checklist, that is Authentic Assessment part. Next one is the figure for 5.2 Reliability for Authentic Assessment Tools. This just shows that it can measure what is the employed authentic assessment, what is the mostly employed authentic assessment tools by the instructors of BSED Mathematics, of BSED Math. That's all. Thank you.